All right, hang tight. All right, all right. All right, good morning. Welcome to the On Point Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Blake here, where we help you get your financial point across. This morning, I got some great information that's going to share with you. I'm going to give you a introduction to a concept called financial behaviors and emotional intelligence in tough times. Also, going to kind of give you a follow-up, not really a follow-up, but a reminder of what we talked about in the beginning of the year, or like a yearly recap, mid-year recap of what we taught so far this year, and just kind of let you know where we are as a podcast for this year, what we've been talking about, and why we embarked on this journey of learning about financial literacy and things of that nature in challenging times. So as you see at the bottom of the screen, it's scrolling across. It said, "Let adversity create opportunity." Right now, today is one challenging day across America. We see how folks are letting their wishes and their understanding be known, and they're sharing that. So it's a adverse time right now, and during these adverse times, you want to be able to create opportunity. So as far as a recap on where we are, when we began this year, we talked about how there's a wealth building blueprint that we could follow. Now, this piece is talking about hidden financial opportunities waiting for us in 2025. So since the beginning of the year, this is what we've been talking about, different opportunities and wealth opportunities that they're out there, and what's been available in 2025. And so I took what we've been sharing and I broke it down into three parts, a three-part system. And that three-part system talks about the myths, the maintenance, and the mechanics of the wealth builder blueprint. And this is in the actual ebook that's online. You can go to my website. There's that scrolls at the bottom when I get back on full side. You'll see the website, which is actionablefinancialliteracy.com. So this particular schematic here shows the myth. We talked about the myth in the beginning. Now we're into the maintenance side of how to maintain things, and this is how we are somewhat giving us the information, giving us different parts of how we as individuals can do our part in growing our wealth for our families. And that's what it's mainly about. Your families or your loved ones, or even your business. So you have the myths, you have the mechanics, and then you have the maintenance. And actually, we're in the mechanics side of it. So, like this lesson, it falls under the mechanics, and it's the mechanism that helps us maintain or grow the wealth that we have. So that's what we're talking about. So you're going to go on my website. You can download this piece. This slight book is only $1, but it keeps you online of what we're doing for the whole year. And these are the three parts of the whole process: the myth, the mechanics, and then the maintenance. So this lesson today and the next few months are going to be on the mechanics to help us make sure we stay on course for building wealth in our lives. All right. My son, he normally joins us. He's taking care of family business right now. So he's still here in heart, but we're still going to press on. All right. So we're going to start out today dealing with understanding emotions and financial decisions. So financial behaviors and emotional intelligence in tough times. Today, tough time. So we know that consumers spend money, spend cash based on emotions, and then we back it up or rationalize it through reactions, right? So how does that work? Just say you see, this is simplistic and it's basically you see a car. Oh, I like that car. Then you back it up. Well, I need that car because this, that, and the other. Oh, I like this dress. That's a beautiful dress. Like I mean, you need that dress because you don't have a color dress like that one. You have a black one, but you need a red one too because that one. Sometimes we think about that. I got a book holder, but this book holder had pages that you can put it on there and hold a bigger book. Yeah. Sometimes we do that. We back it up by logic. I mean, there's nothing right or wrong with it. It just understand that's how our human emotions interact with our purchases. Now, it can be good for you. It can be not so good. Who's the judge? You and God. You and God. Whether it's beneficial for you, you and God. But you have to recognize yourself when something is not going to be beneficial long term and it's going to work for you. So I'm not here to say, oh, no, 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 no. That's not me. I just point it out and and you choose whether or not something's going to work for you long time or not. Okay? So let's embark. Let's jump on this. Oh, in my background, this is from my hometown, Baltimore. Next Sunday will be my 59th birthday. I'll be 59 years old. And I tell you, I remember when I was like 19, 15, 13, and running around in Baltimore and doing my hustle thing, hustling to make some little extra cash, selling parking tickets downtown in Baltimore. I worked in Enoch Pratt Free Library in downtown Baltimore. I worked at a McDonald's on Howard Street. Where the different movie theaters are right down the street from Civic Center. They don't call it the Civic Center anymore. I don't even know what the name is now, but Civic Center. And when the Civic Center, used to let out, movie theaters let out, I was on the grill in Bmore. So that was my spot. So my 59th birthday. So I just honor my city by having Bmore as my background. All right. Graduated from Baltimore City College, which is the high school there, but Baltimore City College, class of '84. All right. No, enough reminiscing there. Let's keep going. All right, emotional influence on financial decisions. So you have impact of your emotions because emotions have a strong influence to your decisions that you make, and sometimes it's going to be an impulsive buy, or it could be a risk taking or hesitation because you will have a commitment on something else or another before you make that purchase. So that's how emotions get influenced in that way. Also, financial decisions. So financial decisions may invest, could be a reckless decision that you make because you're excited. You may sell an asset prematurely because, oh, the stocks are falling, sell everything. Some people get to that way due to fear. You're like, it's going to crash. The market's going to crash. It's going to fall apart. And you end up selling your assets, and they come to find out it's just a blip in the market, and it's going to come back. So that can impact your financial decisions. So you got the choices that are impacted that cause you to spend a lot or do something risky, or cause you to be cautious. No, I want to do it. And then you have those emotions that get you excited. You sell something because you're scared and afraid, and that causes you to falter. So see how emotions can be sort of like a roller coaster if you don't grab a hold of them. They can be like that zip thing that zips you straight up, zoo on a ride, and then drop you straight down and fall. Emotions can be that way when you or if you allow them in financial decisions. So we have to create strategies to manage that. Strategies to manage it, to hold them in check, so you're not always up, always down, or you're not zipping up and down emotionally the same, and doing your finances the same way. So you got to recognize the different triggers, different pauses for making your financial decisions. Sometimes you got to, before you make a choice, you may have to sleep overnight on it. You make a choice, you may have to sleep. Say, okay, before I make this final choice, before I make this final decision, maybe I need to take a nap. Maybe I need to think about it overnight. Okay, I know I want to do this, but let me think about it for a little while. Let me consider this overnight. Think about it overnight before you make that final choice. And sometimes when you're working with a salesman, they'll say, "No, this is the last one. You won't get it in the next day." Yeah, that's on him. He probably needs to pay his car payment or maybe buy something. That's why I need to sell tonight. No, no, homie, wait. Yeah, you gotta wait. Homie is the salesman. All right. So, emotional resilience and financial setbacks. So you got to manage that stress. Recognize and manage the stress because any setbacks, if there's some clarity needs to be made, you got to be able to maintain your composure. So if you got to think about it overnight, do so. Think about it overnight. Don't let somebody back you into the corner and make you do something you don't want to do. They come to. I get a lot of folks on my door. Hey, sir, we notice you have solar panels on your roof, and we have a battery that can come in there, can attach to the solar panels, and those solar panels then we can have battery juice that pauses. Dude, no, I don't want that. Somebody come out. Hey, we have this product here that we can put it on your window and it block the window shields. And no, man, I don't want that. Sometimes, I don't mind somebody knocking on the doors. Sometimes you get, do you know Jesus? Of course I know him. I seen him yesterday. Seen him last night. Saw him this morning when I woke up. But that's just how it is when you're on a home and people they come over. Ain't no problem. And you can say yes or no to nothing. It's up to you. But when it comes to making those financial decisions, you got to be able to manage that. Manage any setbacks, any get clarity. You need to think about it. I'll think about this for a little bit. Show me what you got, and I'll think about it. If I like it, I'll get it. If I don't, I don't. If I got my water, that's how I got my water treatment system. Let me think about it. Come back later. So then you have to have strategies for any kind of a debt or loss recovery. So you got to reframe it, social support, have realistic expectations, help you manage your debt, manage your emotional balance. Some of you have had wives or partners or significant others. Get their influence, get their input. Don't try to, if you got somebody who has skin in the game, they're in the house for a reason. They're in your life for a reason. Get their influence, get their input. The wife says, "I don't think this is," hear her out. If a husband says, "No, never any good," hear him out. You got to have that balance in your life. So you say, okay, maybe he's right or maybe she's right, and you work it out because you don't want to go to a point where you just someone just going along with you versus someone being in agreement. When you're in agreement, then you have that mutual understanding. This is something we're getting into, and we know why we're getting into it and what the benefits or the minuses may be in that situation. So that's the social support, and then realistic expectations about it. We're not going to do this, and it's going to fix things overnight. Because you got in debt over time, you got to get out of debt over time. It's not a magical thing. Somebody's going to break out a magic wand. Boom, you're out of debt. No, take a little time. Now, God can do anything, but you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's another philosophy that I kind of tend to go by. Now, empathy in financial relationships. I was going to introduce that. Empathy in financial relationships. So, role of empathy in financial decisions, understanding, patience, supportive environment, sensitive financial conversations. So you're talking with your partner, you're talking about money, and sometimes when you're talking to your partner, they get upset. You mention money, and it like raises their hair on their neck. You start to get pimples on their arm. Share it a little at a time. You never be able to share it all. You share it a little bit at a time. And once you share what you need to share, it gets to a point you got to cut it off so that person may or may not be able to have any more. You know your level. You know how much you can share before it starts to bubble up and it creates more of a adverse reaction than a conducive reaction. So empathy for one another as you share those discussions about financial decisions that need to be made. Also, techniques for managing those conversations, using the I statements, stating clear intentions, check your emotions states before you help, navigate the discussions effectively, um, and you share it. Now, like I mentioned, I've been an investment advisor for over 30 years, and so when I sit down with clients, it's good to have the spouse and both spouses there. And sometimes you may go, sometimes I may go and I go see clients, and the husband may be there, but after a while, when the rapport gets good, the spouse will come in anyway. They'll come in, and one spouse will be there, and you start talking, then the other spouse will come along. And it's best to have both parties there and to have that understanding. And when that occurs, that's where one may put 1,000 on a flight, two may make 10,000 on a flight. That's that greatest book, that's greatest seller of all time. Basic instruction before leaving Earth. In that book, when you get those two minds together, it makes everything work well. So that's the empathy. You got to feel the other person. You got to feel how that person feels. That person has to know how you feel, and you make those decisions, those choices that go along. Strategies to prevent emotional escalations, because some people, you say certain things and they go push that button, boom, money takes off like a doggone rocket. You wanted to do something a certain way, but if you mention money's involved, money not involved, just sets them off through the roof. You ever had that? Huh? You mention money, and the other partner just goes for it. So sometimes you may need to take a break, practice mindfulness, reframe the language that you're saying, make sure you're respectable and you're calm as you share, because you want to maintain the collective. You want both of you to be on the same page. There's times where sometimes you overdo it a little bit, and sometimes you overdo it, oversay it, and it's like pouring water before. Well, I got this juice right here. It's kind of nasty. It's a cactus cooler. It's not good. But when you pouring it into the cup, you want to make sure you just pour just enough. Cactus cooler, orange, pineapple, blast, soda. Gross. That it shouldn't orange and pineapple. They shouldn't mix those two. But you pour it into a glass. If you pour too much in there, you want to make sure that that's a good mixture. Because if it's not a good mixture, man, whoever tastes it is not going to like it. They'll drink it because I bought it, but they won't like it. So you got to be mindful of what you're doing. Oh my. All right. So also self-awareness of your spending habits. So there's 4 types of spending habits I mentioned before. This will be another class, but there's a spendaholic, shopaholic, spendthrift, penny pincher, and wealth wheeler. Those are 4 different approaches to spending habits. Not budgeting, spending habits. Again, that's another class. We'll talk about it again as well. So recognize your spending pattern. Know what type of spender you are. Be self-aware. Identify any emotional triggers that surface there. Changing your habits with self-awareness. Once you know who you are, then you know what you need to adjust. Be mindful of the spending habits, and be mindful of your alternative methods you can have for your spending. Benefits of financial behavior. Once you know your behavior, you know how to get to adjust, reduce impulsiveness, enhance your money management satisfaction techniques. Understanding your self-awareness and your spending habits will help you identify and create a better way of doing your finances. But if you're not aware of who you are, you'll just keep doing the same thing over again, expecting different results. Intelligent spending, using an emotional intelligence. And I have what's called a behavioral finance behavior. It's like a shopping cart. And these are other different ones. You got to Now, this is in the book, Financial Literacy, building financial literacy, and in Joseph building financial legacy. And this shopping cart helps you identify your type of spending that you have, help you create a new behavior in spending. So you got to recognize your spending. It helps identify any cues, any stress or boredom that can lead to impulsive spending, because sometimes you can get going. You can develop a spending plan that has flexibility, gradual changes, and have you create something spending wise to help you withstand emotional pressures. Because if you're going out, you want to make sure that what action you're producing, you make sure you're producing the proper actions. If those actions are having the intended effect as you spend, and if those intended actions are having the proper results, and if those results, do you have confidence in those results that you are that's working for you, and what you're doing, can it be inspired in others to reproduce the same actions? So again, that's in the book, but that's just a quick way of looking at it. Am I producing the right actions? All those right actions have the intended effect. What the results do the results have any flaws? Do I have confidence in what I'm doing? And then five, is it inspirational enough that others can follow it? So those emotional regulations, like mindfulness, cognitive reframing, reducing my stress and managing my stress, help us gain control over the financial decisions that we make. So you got to do that, get that financial control over the financial decisions. So question is, we're not really question, is a statement. When you look at those prices, when you go to the supermarket, there's something you remember. The bold print giveth, but the fine print taketh away. All right? Let me say it again. The bold print giveth, but the fine print taketh away. So sometimes you see the bold print, this is 99 cents. You say, oh man, this is 99 cents. But you got to go read the fine print. He said you got to buy four of them to do this at 99 cents. Well, I don't need four. I don't need four 32 ounces of, what is it, 32 pounds of beans or soup. I just one can. But if that one can costs $2, or I can get five of them for 99 cents. I don't need that. I don't need that many. You know, just just watch it. The bold print gives it, the fine print take it away. All right. So motivation and financial goal setting, their role in setting goals. You got to have that. Leverage your emotions, strategies for success. So that's where we are. Motivation and financial goal setting. All those things add up. We're going to stop right here for this week's class, because when you have motivation and financial goal setting, it helps you. You're motivated to help set goals so you can achieve them, leverage your emotions, and that sets you on a path to have success in your finances. So again, those you go online to actionableFinancialLiteracy.com to download the Wealth Builders Blueprint, and it tells you more about the maintenance, and the mechanics of building wealth, and that's what we're focusing on this year, and in times of controversy, which is happening now. Next week, we're going to have a guest host on the podcast, and her name is Dr. Karla. I really can't say her last name is kind of different, but that's Dr. Karla right there. This is her media kit, and she has quite a few things that she does here. So, Dr. Karla, she's an educational nutrition psychologist. She made books for adults and for children, show how emotional intelligence influences our decision making. And like I mentioned, that we do that now. We buy based on our emotions, and we back it up with logic. So she's going to be here to share more about the emotional intelligence side of what we do, and it's going to be like a panel. We're going to ask questions, and we're going to just provide feedback for those that are here to listen. She's a wonderful lady, powerful. She has teenagers of her own, and she's won a couple of awards as well. So I'll have her explain more to what she does. And these are series that she has for the children. One of the things I did when my kids were young, Um, Her books weren't around then, but I had my kids reading books about finance and money. I had them reading some of the college books that I was reading, not the whole book. I just highlighted stuff that they would read, and they had to write me a little one paragraph or one page report on what they got from the reading. And when I did it for my kids when they were younger, I didn't know how it was going to work out. Now they all have master's degrees. They teach at colleges themselves. So, um, man, I mean, it worked out great, and God worked it out great for me. So, but Dr. Carla has some things as well that she'll be able to share, and she'll be here next Saturday at 11. So I'm looking forward to being able to share her with you, so you can gain more insight as well. With that, we have remind you there's the Financial Legacy book, which is the second book in the trilogy. Financial literacy lasts a lifetime. Financial legacies last for generations. So the book there, QR code, so you can go there and get that particular book. Get that book. You can either download it or purchase it. When you purchase from here, you get a signed copy of the book. So I get to authorize that bad boy and mail it out to you. Signed copy of it. Um, uh, that's my Sapphire edition. The first one is the Gold edition. The third one is going to come out a couple of years from now. That's going to be the Emerald edition of the book. God gave me these three books in the trilogy. Okay. Lastly, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That's how we grow. That's how we go. And we want to be able to grow the platform to a greater good, to a greater common good, so others can understand more about financial literacy, which is gaining access to economic information and then making use of those concepts. That's what financial literacy is. Gaining access to economic information and then making use of those financial concepts. Right? Financial literacy it's not an account. It's not a bank. You have to be able to gain access to that information. Listening to what we have to share here is a part of gaining that access. Downloading some of the ebooks that I have, the little small ebooks that I've created, that's gaining access to that information. So as you see, that's our theme for the whole year was let adversity create opportunities. Right now, adversity is out there. Right? So, but it's also a time for get opportunities to grow the wealth for your family and for yourself and your family to create that legacy. Okay. Oh, so with that, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing what we have to share. You can go to our website, go to the site as well, where you can become a member of the On Point Podcast, On Point Family. $25 a month helps me keep everything going. I love to share. I love to give information out. At the same time, keep it going. I gotta, pay some bills. So I love sharing. So with that, I want to always remind you to stay tuned, stay informed, and stay on point. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, grandpops, great grandpops. A wonderful day. And we see you again next week. Happy Father's Day again.